One other type of way that the immune system can recognize stuff that doesn't belong more generally is to look for things that distinguish a lot of stuff that is not you. You're not bacteria. You're a eukaryote, very different from bacteria in many ways. And so if a bacteria, or even more drastically different, a virus comes along, it should generally not be that hard for the body to figure out this is not me. And so we have these particular types of molecular features known as PANTs, or pathogen-associated molecular patterns. And so the body will have a general, what's this stuff? This is not me at all. And so the body recognizes this, the immune system will attack it. For example, there are some viruses that use double-stranded RNA as their genetic material. We do not use double-stranded RNA for anything. So any double-stranded RNA that turns up in our body is from some virus, not us. And our immune system can look out and any double-stranded RNA, get rid of it, attack it. Similarly, we mentioned for plants. Plants do not make chitin, but chitin's in insect skeletons. It's made by many fungi. And so if a plant detects chitin in it, it's an invader. It responds to that. Many bacteria, the gram-positive bacteria, gram-positive means that they will stain with a stain developed by gram. And part of what's picking up that stain is peptidoglycan. We do not use peptidoglycan. We don't even have cell walls, just the membrane. So any peptidoglycan means there's a gram-positive bacterium in here, and we aren't gram-positive bacteria, so our immune system can recognize that and target it. Okay, so we have these non-specific immune response to these particular types of chemicals. Works great for identifying some things, not as much by others. In particular, the more similar the problem is to ourselves, the less likely it's going to have some really weird type of molecule or other feature that can be immediately recognized. And so, this means that, say, an animal parasite is going to be somewhat trickier to recognize and then get rid of than, say, a virus or bacterium, because the animal is more like ourselves. And so identifying a way of tagging that, say, tapeworm, that's going to be trickier than tagging a bacteria is very different. And of course, the ones most like ourselves are when our own cells go bad, cancer. Those cells are going to be very much like the ones that are supposed to be there. Figuring out a way for the immune system to target the cancer cells while not harming the good ones is very challenging, but it is something that research is trying to do as a way of treating cancer. If we can get that, it's a very useful approach, but it's quite challenging because, well, they're just our cells that have gone bad. They're very similar to the good cells. A common standard response to infection or injury is inflammation. This produces red color to that part of the body, warmer temperature, swelling, and it tends to hurt. Like this, whoops, this toe over here doesn't look comfy. What's happening here? Well, we have blood vessels dilated, vasodilation, so more blood is flowing in there. Blood circulates through the middle of the body, so it's typically warm. That's why it looks more red and has higher temperature. Of course, the blood is also carrying more immune cells, so that helps bring those defensive cells to the place having the problem. Also, as the blood vessels swell, the capillaries become more leaky. Or if you want to sound fancier, increase the capillary permeability. So this means that both the plasma of the blood and antibodies, white blood cells, things like that, can get out of the blood and move into the tissue. Now, on the one hand, those are attacking the bad bacteria, cleaning up the damage, things like that. However, all that extra stuff in there creates pressure, swelling, and it tends to hurt. Again, white blood cells that are phagocytic, meaning that they will surround and swallow up and break down things that they encounter. And so you get chemical signals attracting those cells, more carried in with the blood, with a greater blood flow. Okay, so this response is helping control infection, potentially, but it's no fun. It doesn't feel good to be all swollen and hot and hurting. And of course, if the inflammation response is out of proportion to the actual problem, the inflammation can actually do more harm. So finding ways to get the benefits without as much of the nuisance side effects is a challenge here. So for example, antihistamines, something pretty standard to take if you've got a cold, they don't actually help at all in dealing with the cold virus. What they're doing is actually decreasing the inflammation. They're decreasing your response because being all runny nose and cough and feeling the pressure from inflammation doesn't feel good. Another way of decreasing the extra swelling historically has been to get a leech and stick it onto that part of the body, and the leech can bite and start slurping up blood and decreasing the extra swelling there. Now, of course, having the leech stuck on you is kind of gross. You don't feel it though. It's got an anesthetic, so you don't feel the bite. So it is a way. It's actually, whether using an actual leech or just some of the chemicals from leech have been used in modern medicine to help remove extra blood building up in some place, whether it's due to inflammation or some other type of problem. Fever, again, something we associate with not feeling well, but it's actually part of the body's defense. Higher temperature, one, helps increase the activity of the white blood cells, and two, it's often a temperature that isn't so great for those germs that are causing the problem. Higher temperature also promotes breaking open lysosomes. Again, those are vesicles holding digestive enzymes in the cells. You don't generally want your cells getting digested, so that's why having a membrane-bound organelle, lysosome, is helpful. Seal those enzymes away. But if that cell is sick, it's got viruses in it, well, you don't want that cell to keep going because it's releasing viruses. If you trigger the release of the lysosomes into that cell, then that cell gets digested before the viruses can properly finish replicating, and you've destroyed the infected cell and it's not spreading more viruses. Now, fever, of course, too hot, and that causes problems for the body. Doesn't feel so great, but it does help in dealing with a number of types of disease. However, there are some things that can take advantage of this. Malaria causes ups and downs in your body temperature, so sometimes you feel cold, but sometimes you feel warm. If you're sleeping and warm, you tend to get out from under the covers, which makes it easier for a mosquito to find someplace to bite. The malaria parasite actually triggers high temperature when it's ready to be bitten by a mosquito. And so the malaria parasite is actually taking advantage of it. And of course there are other fevers as well.